What's up? How's it going? We're here, and by we, this time it's not Noah, it's Logan.
Yay me.
He's back. He's also probably very tired.
Yeah, I am.
So,
Yep.
but Noah is something out of town. I think work business. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff, and I guess I'll catch Logan up on some of the things we've been talking about recently. Uh, because you probably have no clue
Nope.
about anything I've typed there.
Nope.
So last week, Noah and I talked a bit more about NFTs and how they're kind of still being, bad and obnoxious, and how every company is on that and on trying to be part of the metaverse, which isn't a singular thing, and it's kind of obnoxious. And then also companies tend to back out within like a few days of announcing it, and that's happened more. So Team 17, the team behind Worms and those games, were like, we're gonna make NFTs, and then like 3 days later they're like, we're canceling our project on NFTs. The Stalker 2 devs did that. A voice actor and I guess actual actor Troy Baker has apologized for trying to get involved in NFTs at one point, and or I guess not apologized for trying to get into NFTs. He's apologized for his reaction to people not liking him trying to get into NFTs. EA is they're like stepping back from their NFT project currently, and like walked back a few statements, which is interesting because EA, I don't see them doing that ever. And it's just like more and more people are just like, I saw a post on Twitter and it was funny, and it was some person who like indie devs games, and but for the most part they're like just a streamer and stuff like that, and they were like uh game developer 2022 instruction sheet. 1, announce NFTs. 2, cancel NFTs. 3, sell company to Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft.
And it's just like, ooh. So what's going on there? Other than that, not a ton has happened in the past week. We recently, I guess Noah and I talked a little bit about the D&D session that I'm running with this dude here, and Brooke, and now Abby, his girlfriend, just joined in last session, and it's gonna be interesting.
Been very good.
And
It's been very good.
what I can tell you currently, yeah, I don't need advertisement. Spotify, please don't be making sound right now. Go away. Thank you. What I can tell you is and I'll tell you the same thing that I've told Brooke, is that you guys will be in this area for a while.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
There's not really an easy way to get out.
Yeah, so
Yep. So I'm gonna go side questing for days.
yeah.
I'm just gonna side quest the heck out of your campaign.
And
And then
Brooke,
I'm gonna be BP.
what I can tell you is Brooke is not a big fan of the desert setting.
Oh, I like it. I think it's
And
good. Well, she can suck it up.
yeah, well, I mean, it's my job to make things interesting. And
Percy's interesting.
I think there will be a fair amount of stuff in here that is more interesting than yes, sand. So
I doubt that. Sand is the only thing about desert.
well, I guess I got to rewrite everything. Just let me open up my planning sheet real fast. Sand, and then just close it.
Sand. Just
Control 8, backspace.
I think
Sand.
maybe Brooke is just taking an Anakin Skywalker view of sand.
No, she
And
actually.
that's why we're upset about it.
She described it to me. It's like she really likes playing certain games, right? But then she'll like just try and power through other like she'll play The Legend of Zelda, right?
Sure.
And she'll enjoy playing through The Legend of Zelda, and then she'll get to any part with the desert, right? And she'll just power through that. And it's the same thing with like your tropical islands. She's not a big fan of like beach levels and water levels and stuff, and it's just like, I get that. Like,
That's so
but
particular. I don't know. I don't understand that.
she doesn't find it interesting to explore and be around, which is understandable to an extent, right? Because for the most part, a desert is sand.
And water and
sometimes
some trees and cactuses. Cactuses are very interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see how you guys fare in the desert.
I'm gonna do so well.
In a city full of people who can punch giant sandworms out of the way.
I will do fine. I will punch giant sandworms one day.
One day.
One day.
Well, maybe.
You know, okay, so at level 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
For about any class, you get an ability score increase.
Yes.
And I was actually going to talk to you about this. You can take feats instead of taking your ability score increase.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking through feats, and I was like, I kind of just want to take the +2 in strength. But then I was like, my strength is a 13. So if I take a +2, it's not going to do much for me. It's going to give me my +1, and then I'm going to be sitting at another half point.
I mean, here's what I'll tell you. Well, first off, I don't know exactly what feats do, but also, think about what you have been struggling the most with in terms of your roles, and that's what you should apply to modify. Because so far it hasn't been strength for you guys.
Well, I was thinking about taking a feat, so I was looking into all the feats and stuff, and there was a feat.
How many toes are we talking?
Oh, at least 4.
At least 4,
but not 5. So that will give you a good. Yeah.
Feats 5e.
It was, let's see. It gave me a +1 in strength, and then it gave me other stuff. It was in the player's handbook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna do that instead of my ability score increase, but I was gonna run it by you first.
I mean, as long as it's not something outside of your character's general wheelhouse, I would be fine with it. You know, if you were to go, well, now I'm a seamstress. It's like, I mean,
my delicatesse.
You know, I guess for your character that wouldn't be too. That wouldn't be too far. You like making your character crafty. That wouldn't make it too far out of your wheelhouse. But
now I will run a Yakuza style cabaret club.
Do it.
There you go. That's what I'll do. My character would totally be down with that.
Man, Roll20 is a great resource for some things, but then other times it's just like, here's a list of all the feats. Grappler. I think there's more feats than just Grappler.
Oh yeah, no, Roll20 has a big subclass issue where they only have one subclass, and that is it.
Yeah.
So you just like, if you're thinking about like any other subclass than that one subclass, you have to like input it manually, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, and it's I get it. It's hard to run a site like that. Yeah. All right, so let's see. You got your standard. Most of them are just what you would consider like jobs, right? Or like
I think
or like
it
skills
was
bases.
heavy armor master.
That would work good for you because you've been struggling with your heavy armor.
You increase your strength score by 1, and then while I'm wearing the heavy armor, I get bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing is reduced by 3.
That would you're already a beefy tank.
My AC's already 19. Why don't I just make it?
Yeah, it's like your AC.
Why don't I just make it harder for you? Sorry.
Yeah, your AC's already 19. You normally put it up to like 22 with Shield of Faith.
Shield of Faith gets me to a 21 AC. And then that.
And then
you're welcome.
Now you're making it to where you have resistance against certain attacks.
I mean, it's only a -3 to
damage.
It's not resistance.
I know, but a -3 to certain attacks
is nothing.
Could actually make it a 0.
Yeah, I know. That'd be great. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
And
I get my +1 in strength, so I still get my modifier increase.
And here's where I'm struggling a little bit. Berwick has his Berwick is a half-orc who I play as a player character that kind of is, NPC essentially. To help the party not be only now 3 people, but 2 people before. I guess player. And he is also going tank route. With
Path of the Bear.
It's not Path of the Bear.
What?
Yeah.
That's tank route.
Actually, Barbarian. It's not subclasses, but Path of Ancestral Guardian.
Ancestral Guardian. Okay.
Which
that's fun.
You get some spirit shields. You can talk to various spirits. It's gonna be pretty, because the big thing is while you're raging, you can kind of just be like, you over there, and you don't get hit.
Yeah.
So
that'll be nice to protect our sorcerer and Bard.
Yeah,
yep.
we have two wimpy health low AC characters,
and then me, 19 AC baby, natural.
And it's funny because and this is a thing with a lot of things in general, a lot of RPG style things is until a certain point, your tanks are also just your DPS, and your squishy characters, even if they are meant as DPS characters, more or less play support roles.
Pretty much. Up until...
Or AoE. In Brooke's case, AoE has been pretty strong with her because she's got Ice Knife and stuff like that. So.
Up until like level 5 or 6, when you start to get those level 3 spell slots, you're really just a support character.
Yeah.
But once you get those level 3 spell slots, when you're looking at like Fireball and stuff, which is like 5D something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, jeez,
Which is going to be pretty intense.
Yeah, like I get inflict wounds at level 3.
Yeah.
Which is like 3d10 or something like that, or 40-10.
Yeah. All
I got to do is touch them.
Yep. So, I'm going to have to make some interesting encounters. I'm going to be making up not certain monsters, but I'm going to definitely be heavily altering how a fight with certain monsters is going to go.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you're in a desert, right? And so there are giant sandworms in the desert.
We love that.
Yeah. And you can think of it like what I'm thinking of doing is instead of having a singular large health pool for large creatures, I have segmented health pools for various things. And with a sandworm, that wouldn't perfectly work because there's not really any appendages. It's just a giant worm.
No, yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it happens.
I mean, the way that I usually do combat, if I've got the time, is if it's a big moment in the campaign or in the one shot or whatever I'm doing, if it's a big moment, I will not even write down health bars.
Yeah.
And I will just go until the party is about to die.
Well, what I can
and then I'll call it when they get their next hit.
What I can tell you is a number of times I have increased health of enemies.
And they still get mollywopped.
Yeah, because you guys have gotten really good rolls. In combat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard for Brooke's character because she gets like a +7 right off the bat.
Yeah, her spellcasting modifiers are pretty
You know what you gotta do there.
A lot of her spells still hit even if someone makes a DC check.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of them do half damage, which is
So that's pretty big. Meanwhile, so like you have spells, right? You got some stuff to heal yourself and do damage, and you have a big old battle axe.
I have a warhammer. It's only a D8 because I gotta carry that shield.
So you got a big old warhammer. Brooke has a whole bunch of spells, AoE, stuff like that. Barrowick, meanwhile, is just walking around with essentially just a large, heavy staff and just goes.
We really need to get him something else.
We'll come across some things.
He just needs himself a nice long sword. Solid 2d6 damage.
I mean, you had an option to do.
We did.
Sharp weaponry. Remember, he likes blunt.
That's true. I remember that. That's right.
That's how I built his character. That being said, no, there's going to be options. What I will do is if the weapon does not actually exist within official documentation, I will either find an already pre-made either expansion, homebrew, or I will just straight up write a weapon myself.
Yeah, I mean, homebrews are super easy to find.
I've already written 2 weapons already that you guys have the ability to find and use that are customized to an extent. One of them I guess you wouldn't be able to use.
I can only use one-handed weapons because that shield comes in too clutch.
Well, even then, I don't think you would be able to use it. So.
Fine. You gotta use that shield, man. Gets me that +3 AC, which gets me up to that 19. Because I'm a cleric and I get to have heavy armor, so
yeah,
I just get to be an absolute
tank.
I'm not even beefy. I just don't get hit.
You're just a tank.
My armor is impenetrable.
You know, so well, I mean, for a certain period of time.
Yeah, until enemies start getting a +7, and then I'm destroyed.
Until I go, all right.
But by then, I'll have more spells and stuff that I can mess with.
Yeah, and your AC will increase it somewhat.
Shoot, if I get a +1 on my heavy armor, yikers.
Well, we'll see.
That's a 20 AC. Natural. No buffs, no nothing. 20 AC. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what you guys do specifically. And I brought this up a little bit last time when it was spoilers at the time. It's not spoilers anymore to him, so I don't need to be like Broken Logan Weave. I brought this up last time. So they fought quote. It was a forced encounter and a forced loss situation of a Mind Flayer, which is a challenge rating 8. They're level 3, so they're not beating that. And even then, it was a buffed Mind Flayer. Like there was even if everything in the world fought against it, it probably would have survived.
I absolutely love the idea of the Mind Flayer in that because of Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, ooh, Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer.
Ooh, I know what that is.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. They had that happen and they got thrown off into a desert essentially occupied by demons and half demons and learned that
demons aren't all that bad.
Demons aren't all that bad. Just some of them. Some of them are butts.
Some of them are trying to kill everyone.
And the ones that aren't all that bad, there are still some that are bad, but they aren't. I want to end the world bad. So it's very different.
Just like normal people.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
bad people.
Yeah,
good people.
They're learning.
Want to take over the world,
dude. Last night, I had a moment, and I just was like, I'm gonna write this down. So I spent like 30 minutes writing down like.
Yep. The idea, the light bulb popped up over your head.
Yeah. You will not encounter this for a long time.
10 years.
Not that long.
10 years.
Not that long, but you will not encounter that. It's not an encounter, I guess, but you will not. This situation won't happen for a long time. Presuming, I guess, that it happens at all. It has a very good chance of you guys just being like.
I'm gonna make sure to avoid it at all costs.
You don't know what it is.
I will avoid it regardless.
On top of that, here's what I will tell you: is it won't be. It won't be projected, I guess. It won't be hinted at when it happens. That is what I will tell you.
I'll find out.
It'll be a thing that happens in the course of things happening.
I will hire the Mind Flayer as a mercenary.
Oh yeah, and you'll
read the DM's powers.
Yeah, you'll read
your mind
doc.
Through.
No, you'll go here and you'll go. And then you'll hit enter, and then you'll get on my computer and just open up my spread.
Easy, done and done.
Of notes.
I'll sneak into your house. You'll never know it's coming.
Oh. No, it's not how that works.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
No,
GG.
for a couple of reasons. You wouldn't be able to sneak into it. I have cameras placed everywhere.
I'll just be like, hey, I'm here to hang out.
Don't know the password to my computer.
I could get it. I bet Brooke knows the password to her computer.
She probably doesn't.
Oh. Well, then I'll find out. I'll hack your computer. I have a lot of technical knowledge. Technologically minded here.
You don't.
What do you mean? I only messed up my 1 terabyte once. Okay?
Yeah, just...
Only once.
Yeah.
My 1 terabyte of storage only got filled up once.
I think that's what it is.
What do you have, a firewall or something?
No. Do you know what this is? Yeah, see, you don't even know what... Yeah.
No, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. This is the Minecraft server.
Oh, yep.
that
See,
I
knew that.
That I just ported into.
I was testing you.
No, you in fact, yeah, it's like, no, you have no way of doing that.
I'll read your mind.
You won't.
I've had plenty of practice with Abby.
Great.
I have to read her mind all the time.
I'm not happy though.
That's very true.
Yeah. On top of that, while you've had time to try and figure out my mannerisms and how I write things with D&D, you still were not expecting a handful of things.
I wasn't expecting a mind flare to just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't out of nowhere. And Brooke guessed that something was wrong.
Oh, I knew something was wrong. That's why I didn't want to bring it back. But I was like, Yeah. Although you made it quite apparent that
I made
was
it.
wrong,
I made it very obvious.
Wasn't too hard to figure out.
You guys could have done more exploring as well and figured out that a couple other things,
but not mind flares.
No, you. There was a way to figure out that was a thing beforehand, just not from the way that you. So, there was a group of insane priests that took a holy item away from the church because it's dangerous. Blah blah blah. Didn't want the mind flare to get a hold of it, and they kept trying to like calm him down and ask him questions. Like, no, they're long gone. There is no recovering of this person.
I even knocked them out.
Yep.
Then healed them, and then gave them a pretty much effect wiper.
Yeah, like a panacea in other games. It's basically just like all your status effects
gone. This man was still crazy.
Yeah, no, they are beyond. Say it's not a status effect at that point. It's a thing of the character. So, yeah, you guys kept trying to brute force that through them, and it's like that's not gonna work.
I will make it work. You know, I should have taken a mind reading spell because I totally don't have access to any of those. You
could have in that situation though. All their mind would be repeating is the same thing that they were saying out loud, which is we can't let them have it.
Well, they are saying that, but their mind would be saying what they're running from.
No, their mind the entire time. That's what it is.
That's cap.
Nah.
That's not how the human brain works.
When you're in that state, it is.
Yeah, but you would have that. You would have a vision of what you're running away from.
Oh, they were running away from you too.
No, I knocked them the heck out.
Well, yeah, because you approached and punched them.
Well, they went at me. I approached them. They attacked me because I asked for their thing back. And they were like, so I was like, all right, you're gone. So.
But no. Also, I feel like I have to give you an explanation. So he has a spell that he can cast where it's like Circle of Truth, and you cannot lie within this truth, right? I feel like I have to give you an explanation as to why there was the ability to do some stuff there. So he asked the Mind Flayer, which was disguised at the time, a very specific question. And the answer to the question is opposite of what was answered. And I feel like I have to give you an explanation as to why that is possible.
I think you explained it a little bit during the time, but yeah.
It's like there's two things. Yeah, I gave you... So first off, what you were seeing and hearing was the illusion. So the illusion itself, like he may not have lied, but the illusion itself can say and do whatever it wants because it's an illusion. But also, it's a mind flare. He has some resistances to mental things.
Yeah, a level 2 spell doesn't really do much
to something that literally has the ability to control someone's mind at a whim.
Yep.
So.
Worth a shot.
It was
not a bad move.
Under any other enemy circumstance, that would work. But that one, not particularly.
Yeah, now I've got to choose what I want to take because I've got Zone of Truth and I've also got Calm Minds.
You don't have Calm Minds. You didn't take Calm Minds.
Well, I can change them on long rests.
Oh, I guess that's
because
true.
I can change what I prepare.
Yeah.
So I could because I think Calm Minds at this point is going to be more helpful at this point than Zone of Truth. So I'm probably going to switch them and go to Calm Minds instead of Zone of Truth.
That's something that I think a lot of people playing D&D don't do, or that I haven't seen do, and that is actually use their ability to prepare different spells. To actually do that, they kind of just stick with the stuff that they use, and it's like at some point you become so powerful it doesn't matter. Right?
True.
But when you're in a situation where your rolls matter and you don't have like plus 15 on all of your rolls, it matters.
Yep, those lower levels where it's nice. So yeah, I figured I would I'd do that and probably go with Calm Minds and switch off that so that I had access to it because we're gonna have to mess with that huge worm, and if I can calm its mind, that might help. Might help a little bit. Might help a lot. I don't know. We'll find out.
There's multiple routes to most things.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna look at all the other spells I can prep and figure that out. Probably even look past the PHB and look into some of the books that have newer spells that are available to me.
As long as I have the ability to look it up, I'm fine with it.
Dope.
And as long as it isn't just like random homebrew crap, like
no, I'm not. Now, if there is a homebrew out there that I think makes sense, then I will approach you about it.
But if it's just like a homebrew that's like, this is a level 1 cantrip, it's basically fireball, but you do an extra d6 of damage on top of that, and it's unmissable. And it's just like
that's totally doable.
No.
Yeah, why not?
No.
Yeah, why not? No. Sure, why not?
It's not. And also, yes, Logan did say hi, but he waved.
I waved.
So one thing that Noah does occasionally, but we both try and keep to a minimum, is directly replying to chat all the time because it puts us on tangents and we're only on for an hour and we got stuff to talk about. So you'll see that I type in chat, Noah types in chat if we're talking, but if we're talking about other stuff and in the conversation, we normally won't directly reply to chat. So
yeah, chat.
But
gosh,
yeah. So D&D, interesting. I'm looking forward to stuff that's gonna happen in it. Here's something else I told Brooke, and then I should probably tell Abby that the doc that I told her is not everything that's going on in that area in the world, because I think based off of the doc that I gave her, she thinks she knows more about what's going on than she actually knows.
Hey, yo, I don't even know what's going on, bro. I know there is a mind flare, and he did some crazy stuff, and I know Maltera's after us.
Yeah.
So that's about all I know. Yeah. And I know that there is some crazy army that's stomping around, too. So that's all I got. I know I need to get the heck out of here. Get the heck out of Dodge.
It'll be a while before you... Well, it won't be that long until you get out of Dodge, but it'll be a while before you get back to everything else.
Yeah. That's about what I expect.
I think I told you this, and Abby knows. Abby actually does know this. She actually has a copy of the map and everything like that, because I was like, no, this makes sense for your character, and like you are welcome to have a copy of this map. There are 5 new cities that I added.
Yeah, we'll get to all of them.
You could miss 1 or 2, but you will go to at least 3 of them, probably 4, under like required stuff, and you'll start to learn that some things I have set up in a way that it's kind of like, if you feel like you're underleveled or want to hunt for gear, and I feel like this is a better way to explain it than what I did after last session. There are going to be things in this foreseeable future that is basically like, if you feel like you're underleveled or your gear is too low, you can grind for a while. This will not be this won't be like you have to push the story forward. There will
I'm
be
a side quester, baby.
Yeah, it's like you can grind for a little bit in these areas, which is there's scavenging missions that they can go out to into the desert, right? That's one thing that is constantly there. You can do that every single day, and you can hunt for new gear and grind your abilities there. And we'll work on leveling and finding better gear as stuff happens.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, D&D's great. Love D&D. So many different things that you can do with it.
True.
And I've been a DM and I've been a player. So that's been really nice to have both of those experiences. I DM'd for a long time. Like, I played like twice and then I jumped straight into DMing.
That's basically me.
Yeah, I played like twice, jumped into DMing. Wasn't a super fan of it, but people wanted to play, and I knew how to DM, so I did it.
Yeah, that's basically the situation I'm in, except for the opposite. Like, I enjoy playing, but the problem that I have with playing right now is, I told this to Brooke. I think I told this to you when we were going to Starbucks the other day. It's like, I want to have a campaign where the people that I'm playing with and the story that I'm playing and the characters that we're with are actually taking things seriously for once. Because it's fun to have the whimsical and the
stupid
stupid, and it's fun to have that a good portion of the time, right?
Yeah.
But I have never once played where there was not someone who was basically just being a trolly asshole the entire time.
Yeah, we definitely have someone in our party that does that a lot.
Well, and also
you
did it once.
Okay, I did it once.
I know. He took an entire session swinging a battle axe at a crane at a dock to knock it over.
We were, dude. Okay, the DM is good, but doesn't really know where he's going with the story. So,
or at the very least, has not
put enough time into it.
He also hasn't like directed us in any way, shape, or form.
So we were bored, so bored. There was like nothing for us to go off of, and I don't think because we were trying to approach an avenue to take, and the DM just didn't know where to take it.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay. Me and my buddy over here are gonna go and we're gonna destroy that crane. And I mean, the DM was pretty upset.
Yeah.
But
he let it happen.
Everyone had a pretty good time, except for Chandler.
Except for me. And here's the big thing. And I expressed this the last time I played, because here's one thing. I always think it's important to express when you are not having fun. I had stopped having fun because every single session I was like, all right, I'm just not going to talk very much. I'm going to do this thing where it's like I might just occasionally show up, or I'll be there, but I'm basically a side character than one of the actual party members, because I'll try and talk to someone, and 5 words into this conversation, I will get interrupted by someone else who then takes over the conversation.
And usually that's one person.
Yeah, normally it's one person.
It's one person.
And I'm just like, I'm not having fun with that. If you interrupt me enough, I don't want to play anymore.
Which is absolutely fair. If you are leading a conversation, it doesn't make sense for you to just have that conversation taken.
And I'm fine with people interrupting to be like, while you're having this conversation, my character is doing this. I'm not cool with I'm having this conversation.
Now,
and it's very seen, and then this dude walks in and says, "We saw this dead body," and it's like,
okay,
all right,
whatever.
So, and that's what's been happening, and I'm just like, done with it. So when I've been joking at the start of every session with Zach and be like, just kill my character, it's kind of a joke.
Yikes.
And kind of it's just like, you guys play, and I'll like play video games in the office while you guys play.
I feel like there is an avenue for your character to take. I just think there is another character that needs to be shut up. So that you can have some
I think it's
interaction.
There's another... I think it's that the other character that we're talking about needs to less try and... needs to stop making themselves out to be the solo main character. Because that's very much what they're doing, right? They're playing in a way that you would play like a standard action-adventure game. There's one hero, and then there are supporting roles. And even then, like modern RPGs, right? You're playing Final Fantasy 15, right? You've got Noctis. He is the solo lead, and then you have the other party members. They're main characters, but they're supporting roles basically.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing something like Chrono Trigger, or games of like the SNES era RPGs, you can actually just trade out the character that you start with and not have him in the party in some games, and just be like, because everyone should be equal in terms of your party comp, and he's not playing that way. And you can specialize. There are moments for sure it can be built around one character for sure doing better at something.
Yeah.
Like that's perfectly fine. There's a number of ways that works. But when you take everything that is just built for everyone and say, but I'm the main character, you're not the main character. Knock it off. Everyone is the main character. Everyone can do different things. Stop interrupting everyone else. Do I need to get out the talking stick?
We should get out a talking stick.
Yeah.
That would shut me up sometimes too, because I don't like interrupt, but I definitely talk in between other people because...
what it would do for you, I think it would make it to where you talk so much less that you don't play.
Probably, because my character is a, like, stupid barbarian. Yeah, just dumb.
He is the dumb barbarian.
But my character still has use, he's very strong, he attacks well.
And your character's antics are never...
out of character.
They're never out of character, and they're never, I'm going to go do this. They're always prompted. So when you went to go knock down the thing, it was because Dominic prompted you.
Yes. Another character was like, we should go do this. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool,
Yeah, and it's like
yeah.
It was prompted, right?
Exactly.
And so like that's the big thing is, like I said, dumb characters are fine for the most part. Having your big stupid barbarian, cool, that's fine. Having a character that likes to be the center of attention, cool, that's fine. As long as it's within character and it's prompted and done properly.
And this person's character is not the one that wants to be the center of attention. Yeah. Or at least the way he portrayed it at the beginning.
Yeah. Heck, even Abby's character doesn't really want to be the center of attention.
Nope. And you don't see her trying to be the center of attention, even though she's a bard. Like, so it's like...
And it's because her character is a bard, right? Her class is a bard.
Yeah.
But her occupation within the world is not.
No, it's actually a drug dealer.
Yeah. And so like that's the thing, and so you have to play that. So
but that would make sense with bards. Bards are very charismatic, so that it fits.
Yeah. And so you just have to make it fit within the character. And that's fine. And my character has been doing this weird thing where he likes occasionally... he likes, for the most part, not being the center of attention.
Yeah.
Right? He likes kind of sneaking about and doing... just kind of like not existing until the moment that he just exists. Right? Yeah. Because... And I'm a monk, and I went Way of the Shadow, which essentially allows me to... with usage of skills and stuff like that... make my character more or less invisible to everyone. And so I have built my character as this kind of senile old man at this point. It's not how I originally wanted to take him, but with the way that the party is built out so far, that's where I'm going with it. This kind of senile old man that for the most part is just like hobbling around, walking around. But, and no one notices him. He's just kind of like, he exists, but no one really cares. And then occasionally, someone will be like trying to sneak around a corner, and I'll just be like, "Hi," and I'll just be there.
I actually really liked what you did with your character last session, where you messed with a lot of the people. I thought that was very much your character. Like, that was very much your character in a way.
I'm going like
with the stupid barbarian.
I'm going for the most part trying to be old man Yoda, like original series Yoda, which is just like he's very wise. He is, he is very strong,
but he's a bit of a goof.
But for the most part, he's just like, stack these rocks. I'm gonna throw things at you while you do it. And so like, I'm gonna eat your food because it tastes good.
Yummy.
And that's the character I've currently now been trying to go for is an old man Yoda vibe where it's like, but like the old man Yoda when Luke first sees him and it's just like, you're a crazy old man living in the middle of a weird jungle. Why should I listen to you, old man?
Because.
And it's like, because of the seagulls poking my head, not fun.
Too easy.
So yeah.
Yeah, no,
I want to be a player in a series that, first off, that I don't have to DM in, because the last one that we did with the group before that one, Zach and I, who's the current DM of the one that I'm a player in, we took turns basically trading off on a character that was slowly losing his mind, which would allow us to like
play them in different ways.
Yeah, play them in a different way and like know a bit about the story without getting too out of character with his antics. But it makes it really not fun knowing where the story's going. It's like not just a little bit, like exactly knowing where the story's going. Which is why I strayed a lot from the book when things happened, and Zach called me out for it a few times when he was playing. He was like, "It's like, well, do you want to play a game that you already know? Do you want to?"
No.
Like. And I guess that's not a fair example. I replay video games all the time, but it's like one of those things where it's just like, do you want to read read your own adventure book, create your own adventure book after you've gone through all the paths already, and then just keep reading it over and over and over and over and over again, the same exact book and the same exact path? It's like, eh.
Well, and another thing with that is like it's a role-playing game.
Yeah.
So like there's so much different stuff and so many different ways you can take things that it's like the book is really like those books are really just a guide.
Yeah.
You should be taking things out of the book. You should not follow the book to the T. That is not what the intention of the book is. The book is to give you a world and a end goal.
Yeah.
And that is it. The in the middle stuff is stuff to get them to move along.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, I've tried running stuff with those books. I've just never had a dedicated party. But like I've got that kind of stuff. It's fun, but you gotta know how to run it right.
Yeah. And honestly, after doing this long campaign with you guys, even like this far into it, I have learned something very important. I am substantially more comfortable and a lot better at two-shot campaigns than I am with long campaigns. I'm doing good so far, but I'm substantially better at the 1 to 2 things.
Yeah, it gets intimidating, honestly. So. Like when I was trying to do my big campaign, I had a good starting point and I had a good avenue to go to. But it was super overwhelming to know where in the world do I take this next? How far do I want this to go?
Yeah.
How like my ambition was too high when I initially set my end goal because I was like, dude, how in the world do I get stuff in the middle of this to get them to this end goal? Like I wanted them to be level 20 at the end. And I
don't think you guys will be level 20 at the end. You'll be
That's so much. That's so long.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted my characters to be level 20, and I didn't.
That is so long, but also planning encounters for a party of level 20 characters is you need legendary encounters.
That was exactly what I had planned. I had planned for them to fight a dragon in the end.
But the thing is, it's every encounter at that point, because otherwise, you start, you roll initiative, they always go first because of the stuff. And then one person, your DPS rolls a spell and wipes out the entire opponent's board immediately.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's where it gets rough. I mean, now here's the thing. There are There are monsters that are made for those certain things. Like some monsters have stupid high ACs, and it's hard to hit them, so you've got to work around that. And like, I mean, it is doable. It's very doable to do things without legendary actions, but you get to a point where almost everything has a legendary action.
Yeah.
To where like you can make things work.
Yeah. So you guys. I will tell you this now. Unless things expand a lot further, you're not hitting level 20. You're not close to level 20.
I agree. I don't think I don't even know if like that would take forever. Yeah. That would take so long.
And that would take so long, and on top of that, we're already gonna likely reach a point where we're doing this online for a long period of time.
That's true. Yeah, because y'all will leave in the summer and I'll still be here.
So and it's gonna be one of those things where it's just like it's gonna be rough. That being said, we'll see. We'll see what comes.
Yep, there are lots of online stuff that makes things cool. A program just dropped. Cannot remember the name of it, but it is a program where you can create a 3D room, where and your characters are 3D and everything. So like you have like a desk stand and a bed and stuff, and it helps you set up encounters and things like that, and just like cities, towns. It's a very cool. I've been waiting for it to release. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a super cool app that is honestly going to be revolutionary for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Honestly, really because we don't know what that is at the time. I've honestly just been considering being like, you guys need to all get tabletop sim, and we'll load up a D&D board in tabletop. Because you can set up a D&D.
Oh yeah, I guess you could, yeah.
And we'll all be in there, and we'll tabletop sim that with webcams on and stuff like that. But that's one of those things where it's just like that's further down the line for us to figure out. So. And it might be one of those things where once we go online, we might be like, well, let's reach an endpoint faster because it's not nearly as enjoyable as in person.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. If it can be executed on correctly, online can be just as fun.
Yeah.
It can be just as fun. It's just, you got to figure it out, really. Yeah. Like, I've seen people who only do online D&D, and they love it. They enjoy it. They don't really like it in person. Which is, that makes sense. There are ways to make it fun. You just got to figure out the stuff.
My big thing with that is I'm perfectly comfortable doing online because, I know how to use, Roll20 really well to get everyone in. And so if there's another tool that drops that's better, I could probably learn it and figure it out fine. I can load up. I have digital images of all the maps that I want. I can create dungeon spaces pretty easily. Same, I hand draw them on a battle map right now. I can do it in Roll20, and I play music during our sessions, so I can do that through Discord or
Roll20 or whatever.
Roll20 or whatever. And so I'm perfectly fine with that. The big thing is, I guess it's one of those things where it's just it's kind of weird sometimes. To be like, all right, I always need to. It makes me have to be one step ahead of everyone, even more, because I just have to be,
Yeah, I mean, it is.
I have to know what page that everyone's going to be moving to next, and
it does require more work because you have all those things, all of those extra things to do. So
but I don't know. We'll see where that goes. I would like to completely finish the campaign. It's still being written as we go, because the other day I asked Brooke and Logan feedback to be like, where do you think it's going? What do your characters currently think of the world? Things like that, and all of that was basically just be like, what do you know? And Logan, one of the questions I asked Logan and Brooke, both. It was just moral ambiguity or your standard hero's quest. And I don't think I explicitly used standard, but I was just hero's quest or moral ambiguity.
Yeah.
I didn't give any context on it other than just
those words.
Yeah.
Those were the words you used.
And both of them said moral ambiguity is generally more interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because I had, from the point that I asked them, already branched 2 different storylines that were going to happen. And so we've started Moral Ambiguity.
Yeah, and like I think like even with my character, like my character at this point is almost upset with the god that he chose, or the gods in general, really, with how they treated the demons. Like once he understood that like, hey, these things are going on, like we kicked out the demons. Like we could have lived with them, it wouldn't have been an issue. But no, the gods were like, get out. Like, that upsets my character a lot. And so my character is almost to the point of, like, considering, like, a oath, like paladin oathbreaker, except cleric style kind of thing, you know? So,
and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I like the moral ambiguity, because I think that fits my character's ideals as well. I think it fits it perfectly.
Yeah. And there's... Like I said before with Abby, there's a lot of stuff that you guys don't know that I have written. And you guys, both you and Brooke, have explicitly asked for more interaction with God and God encounters. God's plural. The world has like 7.
Maybe not as much anymore, but yes.
But, well...
Once I've learned the things that I've learned, you know?
Yeah.
Either my god's going to have to work with me, or I'm going to have to leave.
So, and we'll you know, we'll work through, you know, and see how things go. And the personalities of the gods are already set, so there's a certain extent where that is uncontrolled by you. But there's also a certain extent where it's just like various actions and reactions, things that you do can affect certain things, so... I have to be vague when talking to you because I'm just like, it could go either way. Because I don't want to give away stuff. What I will tell you is currently, oh man, and so when I was first writing this, I sat down and spent like a week and a half just writing out a whole bunch of crap, and like a few days making a whole bunch of maps and stuff like that. And I wrote the start. I wrote, generally speaking, how I want the story to go, based off of like areas that you're going to traverse through, things like that. And then I wrote a good portion of the end. The end is so freaking good, but I have no idea if it will be the same when you get there.
That's the thing about D&D. It's kind of like, all right, I'm going to plan this is my end goal for now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to plan this.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to just bounce back and forth between, all right, here's a short-term quest, and that changes my long-term
The story
quest.
has changed dramatically
since sure it has,
So here's what I will tell you, because you already know this. You already know to an extent how this is. So the god Maltera, which is the evil god, Lord of the Demons, right? You know at this point that he was not always a god.
Yes.
That has been told to you. When I first wrote the story, there was no that. It was just, they're gods. And I was just like, all right, a little bit into this, I'm thinking things through, and then, and I was still up in the air on whether or not I really wanted to go that route, and then you guys were like, more ambiguity, and then Abby joined in, and she started pitching me ideas for her character, and I was like, I had originally wrote an entirely separate place that you guys were going to go to.
Yeah.
And I was working through that, and I was like, all right, so this is the way that this works. And you guys said more ambiguity, so we're going to try and fit this. And Abby was pitching me ideas for a character, and I go, we're going to go here. I like yours. We're going to go over here, and we're going to do these things. And this is what you know. And so it was like, it's like 3 days before the actual session that I was like, we're going to rewrite this entire section.
I remember you telling me about how you were like just writing for hours and hours and hours.
The other day, and the other day when we went to Starbucks, right?
Yep.
I wrote for 4 hours that day. Campaign stuff. Because I was like, we've got cool areas. I just introduced 5 cities that they don't even know about yet. They know that there's about 5 of them, and Abby knows, so they'll find out soon enough. But it's one of those things where it's just like, I gotta write some of these, and some of them are really basic, right? Some of them are just like your standard basic stories. Some of them are like they involve the main story. And then there's a whole bunch of other areas, some of which are, like I mentioned before, just grindy areas. They're just areas for you guys to go and explore, and there's a variety of different things that can happen in those areas and a variety of different
and find things
paths in those areas. So it's not just the same thing over and over and over again, you know? This is definitely the roguelite section of the thing, you know, where it's like, if you feel like you're underleveled, if you feel like you're too weak for what's about to happen, grind for a little bit. I will give you opportunities to grow. I will allow you opportunities to find and make equipment and work on your skills.
And build a carriage.
And I don't think carriages work in the desert.
They will. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
My
like put one on a
crafty.
set of skis and have the sandworm drive it.
Hey, Percy, bro. Me and Percy are going to be best friends, and I'm going to get Percy to drive my carriage.
Percy's the name of a giant sandworm that's not a friend.
It's a friend.
But he's like in context of the world and the city in which they're currently in, they don't bother Percy because Percy keeps the bigger things away. You know,
Percy is a friend.
It's like Percy keeps a lot of Percy keeps a lot of the smaller pests that they don't want to have to deal with away from the city that they're currently in. And he doesn't really bother the city. But recently, he's been a little too close to the city. So it's been encroaching on their scavenging grounds. And Percy doesn't normally attack people. He's kind of like a shark, right? If he's hungry or you're bothering him, he will attack you.
Yep.
But for the most part, he's just a giant sandworm. But now he's encroaching on city space, and you got to figure out what's going on.
Well, Percy and I are going to be friends.
And that's your immediate next thing.
It is. Yep. That and hunting. I'm a great hunter.
Yeah.
So good.
Figure out how you're going to hunt in the desert.
That is something that is going to be pretty
Because here's you and Brooke, and you especially, wanted to improve your hunting skill, right? You even said that was a minor goal for your character. The way that I'm running is there's minor goals and major goals, and they'll, in my sheet, unknown to them, will eventually accumulate into the ability of them leveling up when they kind of reach a threshold of working on a certain number of things mixed with a story point. If you're in the same space that you're always in and you're always successful in hunting anyways, you're not going to do that. So now you have a chance to learn how to hunt in a new place. There's going to be new encounters. You have to hunt. Yeah, you have to figure out how to hunt these new creatures. Because before it was always deer or boar or rabbits. Now you're in a desert. And so like there might be like a desert hare,
foxes,
right?
Snakes. Figure out how in the world you could eat a snake. Scorpions.
Well, but also other things that aren't necessarily mankind or demonic race, but still not your standard animal. You're in the middle of a desert known as the Kingdom of Myth. There's a giant sandworm.
Maybe we can eat giant sandworms.
You'd have to kill one.
Commit genocide to the sandworms, except for Percy, who's my friend.
I don't think Percy would. I mean, I don't.
Percy
I don't know.
Fine with
I don't know if Percy would care. I think giant sandworms are pretty territorial. But
exactly, we're helping Percy.
They also do have to breed. So
nah,
but
not if you commit genocide to them.
But no, there's a. I'm not going to tell you that. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that.
Fair enough. Understandable.
Yeah, I am. There's a side quest planned.
Side quest
that you guys don't have to do at all.
I'm gonna do
it.
It's
completely optional.
Side quest.
There's a good chance that you could actually just miss it.
Side quest game.
Well, the thing is, you have to search for certain things. You might actually just miss it.
I'm gonna search the entire city.
It's not currently in you. I will tell you, don't go searching for this side quest because it's not in your current city.
I'm searching right now.
I wouldn't tell you it if it was like gonna come up in this most recent thing. You guys might have to go, battle things, like actually, because hunting in the past has been just, there's normally not an attack, a returned attack from whatever you're hunting. The boars have like once or twice done something, but for the most part, you've killed them. You might have to, things that you're hunting to eat, have to actually battle them. Because they have the ability to fight back and will do so. So.
Yay.
It'll be interesting.
It will.
I'm looking forward to it. We talked a lot about D&D.
D&D is a great topic.
And a little bit about NFTs. Also, Noah and I talked very minuscule about this last time. Did you know that there is a VR MMO that just came out called Zenith?
No.
And Noah and I both have it.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. It's on Steam. It's on Quest. It's all cross-play, all cross-progression.
Once I find myself a job and have revenue, I will consider buying it.
It's $30.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, and
I haven't pulled out my VR in like months, so maybe that'll be an excuse to do so.
What they have said is their current plan is that every update outside of like major stuff is going to just be free updates, and they're going to make money off of a cosmetic shop that's going to come out at some point. And then the upfront cost, obviously. But like smaller updates, some content updates, things like that, and it's technically in early access, just because it's not everything that they have officially announced already. But like they're gonna add another. Right now, there's 2 classes, each of which have 3 subclasses. So there's a sword master and a mage class, and then you can be a DPS tank or support
in each of those.
And you can actually swap between each of those as need be.
Yes.
And they're going to add a 3rd class, is what they have said, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you, I played a little bit of it earlier today because Noah and I just got it. Noah and I are going to start playing it next Saturday. We might actually stream a little bit of it instead of do the podcast. We'll see. I need to very much get used to full, smooth, like character locomotion in VR, because there's most of the games that I've played have just been you stand still kind of games, and if there's movement, it's very little, or it's like out of body movement, right? So like VR chat. I don't know if you ever played VR chat.
I'll play VR chat.
Yeah, so like there's your standard locomotion movement where you can actually physically like walk around. Then there's your in-game smooth locomotion, which you can just like move the joystick around and you will physically move at the same time. Or there's what is considered out of body, which is you press down on the joystick and you see your character move around, and then when you let off, you will teleport to that spot, and everyone else sees that movement happen as you're kind of moving the joystick around. They have smooth locomotion, so they have I push forward on the joystick, and at that moment I begin moving forward. And then they have the out-of-body locomotion, right? Where you can walk your character around and you can see him walking around, and then you teleport to the spot when you're done. I think I'm going to have to just swap between those as I encounter. So like if I'm going to like fight something, I'm going to have to swap. I'm going to have to go into the options. I'm going to have to swap to smooth locomotion so I can actually like step back if I need to. But when I am just exploring, I'm going to have to do the other one, which is going to be... Because I played a little bit of it, man, and I'm not used to smooth, full locomotion of characters, and it made me a little queasy for a little bit.
Yeah, that's my issue with that. I get pretty lightheaded.
And some of that's just... What I have heard is once you start playing for a little while, that goes away. But I don't play VR enough, and I don't play games like that often enough for that to matter. I play Beat Saber... and half.
Yeah.
And I want to play more. Dude, I want to play more of that sports game.
That was fun. I actually had a lot of fun with that. We should definitely do more of that.
Dude, we need to. Like, honestly, is it out on the PC version? Sports Rumble, what is it?
I don't know.
Sports Rumble VR. I don't think it's that. Sports Scramble. On Oculus Rift. Yeah, you can get it on the Rift.
Nice.
Which means it won't be on Steam, but
you'll... No, but it does cost me $30.
Yeah, it does cost you $30. But it's one of those things where it's just like, you'd be able to play it from
my dorm.
Your dorm, and we could play together. You wouldn't have to come over here and borrow Brooke's headset for us to play it.
Yeah.
But no, I want to play more of that, because it's like... It's fun. It's one of those...
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's fun, just to piddle around for a while and play a VR game. And I don't know. It's been good. We've been on for an hour and 6 minutes.
So yeah,
You should probably call it.
we should.
So next week, Noah should be back. We're kind of playing that by ear. It's starting to ramp into New Year's, some of the busy season for the work that he does. And we may do the podcast. It might also just be like a VR night with us playing Zenith. It depends. We might do Zenith first and then the podcast. We might do the podcast and then Zenith. We might just do Zenith. We'll see. Kind of depends on what he's got going on when he gets back from his work. Yeah.
Woot woot.
Other than that, we don't got much going on. For more news on Nostalgiathon, go to our Discord, which I'm gonna post a link in the chat. It's also, if you go to our website, there's a link for a Discord little icon that shows up. You can check us out there. That's where we post any major news. You'll also see it on the website itself, nostalgiathon.com. Normally at the top, any major announcements, it shows up immediately on the page. And we will see you later.